Peace and welcome. This is a show I've simply titled Let's Talk. I'm here with my guest. I'd like you to say something about yourself, your name, and how old you are.
I'm Benny Hill. I'm 30 years old, and I'm here to do this show.
All right, man. Well, I'm glad that you came, first off.
Thank you.
And second, I'd like to lead. The first question I'd like to ask you is, the feminist movement promotes promiscuity. Is that a good or bad thing?
I feel like it could be good and bad. It depends on what's going on.
Can you explain?
Well, you said the promiscuity. I mean, it depends on, if it's. People have the right to do what they want, but at some point, there's too much.
Well, what's too much?
Too much is, I don't know. Like the promiscuity of like kids and stuff. Like adults, for adults it's okay, but it's so out there now that it's like kids are starting to do it.
So do you think that the adult behavior influences the children?
Of course.
So in what way?
I mean, it's that's what they look up to us to influence them. When they look at us, they say, if they're doing it, then that's probably what the right thing to do because we're adults. They don't know any better.
Right, logically that makes 100% complete sense. So but in what ways could it be positive?
I mean, it could be positive for the people who don't, aren't teaching kids that teach kids, morals and, self-respect, stuff like that,
But in what way is promiscuity a positive? Because if both sides...
positive to make a woman feel good, to make women feel good about themselves, It's, it could go both ways. It's a two-sided sword, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to figure out.
Else,
I'm sorry.
I said just like anything else.
All right, but so when I ask for the positives of it, because to me it sounds like you said the same with the morals of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because both sides can teach morals and teach different sides to children. Keep certain lessons away from children.
Well, more or less, basically, it's the same reasons for both, negative and positive, are the same. It's like I said.
Well, I'm asking if it's a positive or a negative, because if one is promoted, then that means one has to be, shunned to the side, right?
Right, exactly.
So if we are the adults, like how you said, and we lead and we set the example, it would have to either be a negative or a positive. So in your eyes, would a society of promiscuous women and that being promoted, is that a good or a bad thing?
That's a tough question. Well, I feel like it's neither good or bad. I feel like it just is.
It just is?
It just is. It's just one of those things that are just going to happen. There's nothing, it's just like everyday things.
Well, just to give you a brief little statistic, right? Most women would say that they are more comfortable with being sexually active with someone who they are romantically involved, or passionately rather, involved with.
Okay.
Women do are you familiar with, you know what pair bonding is?
No.
So women do what's called pair bonding. What pair bonding is, it means that women, when they have physical encounters with a man, they link to that man. Mm-hmm. They want to have emotional connections with that man, because for women, sex is just, it's more of an emotional thing than it is for men. Would you say that a man do you think sex is a big thing for a man as it is for a woman?
As far as big thing as what?
Can men have sex with an emotional attachment? Can men have sex without emotional attachment?
Yeah, I feel like anybody can.
Do you think most women can?
I've met some. I've met a lot that can.
Would you say for the most part, though, women can have sex and feel nothing?
It's not for me to say, because I can't read minds, You never really know what.
Well, no matter what, though, for sure, absolutely. But no matter what, though, you have a perception, right? You have a way of thinking. You have the right to say what you think. And
I would hope, and I would say that yes, they do with the emotional attachment.
Right. So, and I would agree. And logic would say most of them do.
Yeah.
Because that's where you hear things like, he cheated on me. Oh my God, I can't believe he's talking to this girl, or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, Whereas, men, they don't women are naturally competitive. Men don't like to be competitive. This is why women will do things like talk to the dude who's talking to their friend or, two other girls or whatever.
Yeah.
Versus when a man sees that a woman has the attention of another man, he'll leave her alone for the most part.
Yeah.
There are some men who are competitive, but when they are competitive in the sense of the same way as a woman, we see that as outbursts, right? Like, this dude's gonna fight this other dude over a girl.
Yeah, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So societally, we see things for a reason.
Okay.
And this is why I'm asking you questions like this, just to get your perspective on it. Because
Okay.
So something like promiscuity is aided by things like detachment from emotion. So when women say things like they want to be the wife of a high-valued man, and they want to be respected and loved and all of that stuff, that doesn't exactly come with promiscuity, right?
Well, I guess not.
Would you say for the most part it does?
For the most part, yeah.
So like, for the most part, it's not a good, like, women don't get with that? Like, they are gonna end up liking somebody they mess with?
I feel like I would hope so. Yeah.
Right. I would agree. Like logically. And remember, just to let you know that whenever I'm on this show and I say I agree or I think, I'm speaking from the perspective of logic. I have no way of thinking on this show.
I know.
Cool.
I'm just trying to think, like, with the questions, I'm just trying to think of a way to word it, because it's like, these aren't like normal things I even really think about,
That's the thing, though. These aren't things that most people think about. These aren't things that we all, as little as these questions seem, as you can see, they have a big impact because they have a long-term effect.
Yeah.
And we're at this point in our lives, or most of us, where we're young and we're not really thinking about things that we're doing. So especially people who are younger than us, meaning these 18, 20, 25.
Okay.
Not to mention 30-year-olds too. Everybody's wilding right now. The only difference is most 30-year-olds have children.
Oh yeah.
On top of that,
That's for sure.
But see, something like promiscuity has created single-parent households. If people are having sex, people are going to get pregnant, and then once somebody gets pregnant, if this is the hookup where nobody has an emotional attachment, then that child is burdened with, parents who somebody has to raise it, right?
Right. Exactly. Yep.
So that's why I asked. So, in the long run, would a nation of promiscuous people be a good thing?
No. A lot of sex, a lot of babies. A lot of people ain't ready for babies. And then that'll be a world of just messed up babies, messed up kids, The world is already messed up, It's just, I don't know. That's a big bad thing. A world full of promiscuous people in general? No.
Yeah.
You gotta have some of those people that are like, no, that's not me.
Right. That's what tradition promotes. So tradition promotes without the religious aspect of it. Tradition just promotes the behavior of men and women meet each other, men and women get married, then men and women have the child together, right?
Okay.
Versus the feminist movement of promoting promiscuity and just you can have a child wherever, it's not a big deal. So I want to ask you, from a man's perspective, the promiscuous movement, like I said, once again, suggests that women have multiple sex partners. I want to ask you, as a man, how many sex partners is too many sex partners?
I don't know. Personally, for me, one is enough. If you got, two. Like that's, and everybody's like involved and okay with it. You know what I mean?
Oh, let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. When I say sex partners, I mean how many people have you been with? How many bodies do you have?
Oh, how many bodies?
Yeah, so how many bodies? So for example, if a woman came to you and said, "I have X amount of bodies," how many bodies is too many?
Well, I can't really. Personally, I got bodies, so it's like if she has like less bodies than me or like equal to, that's all right. But if she's got like way more than me, I don't know. It's like everybody does what they do, as long as like I'm not worried about catching nothing or nothing. Don't bring nothing back to me, Do whatever you want.
Well, societally, we can agree. Well, I wouldn't say we agree. I'm going to ask you if we agree. But societally, I think we'd be able to agree that most men, like how you said, would rather have a lower body count coming from a woman. Like, for example, if you could take in a situation where you are going to marry this woman, you would most likely want that woman to be a virgin, right? Or at least have as little bodies as possible. Or would you rather have a woman who's had, no bodies, or, like 30 bodies?
Or bodies. No.
Yeah, or like, bodies on bodies. You know what I mean? Like, what do you...
No, I'm just playing. It's
Sorry, I gotta roll my voice here. My bad.
bodies is, I don't know. It's I can't really say nothing. It's like people like to have sex. Like, it's just, I can't, as long, I don't know. Now, if it's, I feel like the number of bodies is like, like I said, I feel like everybody would prefer to have somebody that has the least amount of bodies as possible.
Well, societally, I think we can agree that most men would say that they would rather have a woman, especially if there's a woman that they're going to take as a wife, they'd most likely like that woman to have the least amount of bodies.
Okay.
The parallel, well, not parallel, but the flip side of that is most women would rather have a man who's had more bodies, who's had more experience.
Okay.
The reason why I ask how many bodies is too many bodies is because societally, I don't think people consider the ramifications of that. So, for example, would you have sex? I'm sorry, not have sex. Would you marry a woman who has 10 bodies?
Yeah.
Would you marry a woman who has 20 bodies?
Yeah.
Would you marry a woman who has 30 bodies?
Yes.
40?
Yeah.
70?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, I didn't mean to say it like that, but it's like,
No, it's fine. You
I
have
don't
an
even
opinion,
have
and that's
70
totally
bodies,
cool.
you know what I mean? Like,
First of all, there's nothing wrong with having an opinion.
Right.
I know there's a lot of programming that teaches us as men that we're not allowed to have an opinion about things, but we are, just like everybody else.
okay.
So,
Yeah.
so
But 70, that's kind of aggressive.
well, most men would absolutely agree that. I mean, most men would say 5 is a lot. You know what I mean? But this is why things like promiscuity get promoted.
Okay.
So for example, if I have a wife who has 30 bodies, because that's on the lower end of what we got. 70 was too much.
70 was high.
Right. So let's say even 30, right?
Okay.
So if there are 30